Let's go from what G called a team that doesn't elicit a ton of emotion to a player that, for better or worse, certainly does. The AFC North quarterback room, in totality, got an upgrade yesterday as Aaron Rodgers signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And G, I'm curious. I know this doesn't necessarily impact the Browns directly because he's not part of the team. They got to play him twice this season, and it makes the AFC North even tougher. How do you think the Rodgers signing with the Steelers impacts Cleveland at all this year?
Well, it's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you give him credit where credit is. I don't think Aaron Rodgers last year's stats can be kind of deceiving a little bit. Like when you look it up, it's almost 4,000 yards. Almost I believe 28 touchdowns. But it wasn't the same Rodgers that we kind of used to. It seemed like the Jets wanted to get more out of that. I would have think that the Jets, with the defenses that they were able to compile with some of the guys, they got a number one receiver there. They got a nice running back. It's a little disappointing that he did not put up better numbers and then get the Jets to anywhere near where I think they wanted to get him when they went out to acquire him. For me, I look at it. I just don't think it's a good fit in Pittsburgh. I think him and Mike Tomlin are going to bump heads. And I actually think that's why it took them so long to sign the deal. I just think that Aaron Rodgers wanted to play again. That was the only option for him. And you know how you say, think long, you think wrong. It took you a long time to sign that because the Steelers do stuff like this. Steelers be having practice on Fridays with pads on. Bro, it's different. The Steelers gonna do it a certain way. They're gonna move a certain way. They don't deal with people straying outside of it. Look at Pickens, George Pickens. They don't play with people too long. They're like, all right, we'll catch you later. But I mean, I look at it. Do I got the Steelers winning the division? No. Does this play any effect on the Cleveland Browns? No. The Browns will be who the Browns are. They just need to worry about seeing if they got a young rookie quarterback to play. But as far as moving the needle, I don't pick the Browns to win the division. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win the division. And I honestly think, what are they going to get? 7, 8 wins, maybe 8 and 9. I don't see this moving the needle in Pittsburgh's direction either way.
He's better than Mason Rudolph, so he upgrades their room.
Yep.
But I agree with the last thing you said. Neither one of these teams are really division contenders. So, it impacts the 2 games that they play on the field, which will impact draft positioning possibly. I like the Browns' chances of beating the Steelers a lot better when Mason Rudolph was their quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. But I don't think Aaron Rodgers is nothing what he was, 5, 6, 7 years ago. So it's kind of a non-thing to me. Who even knows? Don't Browns and Steelers play the last game of the season again this year? Am I wrong?
I don't know.
That?
Do they?
They play week 6.
They play.
And then
I feel like it's late in the year.
Game.
Who's to say that Aaron Rodgers is even
The Bengals
healthy?
are the last game, so it's not.
I lied to you. You know what? Listen, I think week 6. Can you give me the first
17?
Can you give me the first few games of the season? I lied. Go down. Give me the next set. It's right here.
The Steelers are the 6th.
They're the 6th game of the season?
Yep.
Oh, I think that's the first game. I said that. I think that's the first game Shedeur Sanders starts.
So Shedeur versus the old man. The kid versus the old man.
They won't do it going across the pond. That won't happen. It's too much chaos. They'll wait. They play at Pittsburgh. It's a big enough challenge, and they could drum it up and say it's at Pittsburgh. And what a great way to get your first start and get your cut your gums and cut your teeth on playing at Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers. Did you watch him growing up? Yeah, I think there's a starting quarterback change at week 6.
Wow, it's pretty bold. It's a 100% chance that could happen.
It is.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
When I heard the news, I was like, well, they're better. They're better now. It's kind of like the argument of Joe Flacco versus Kenny Pickett. I think the best choice is Joe Flacco. I don't see how you could argue any of that. And it's the same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had a really good year last year. Not by his standards, but Mike, where did he fit in the ratings discussion last year? I would think he would be upper half.
You want quarterback rating? You want yards? What do you want?
Give me all of it. Touchdowns to interceptions. It's QBR is fine.
We'll do QBR to start. according to ESPN's QBR, he finished 25th in QBR with a 48 QBR last
It's
year.
a lot lower than I thought it was. Touchdowns to interceptions.
He had 28 touchdowns, which ranked tied for 7th in football. 11 interceptions was the 5th most, tied for 5th most in football.
Okay.
But
I like that. That's a for the
11,
Browns, it'd be a
12,
great ratio.
15, and 16 was the most.
Yards
in the upper
per
echelon.
yards per
Almost
attempt.
4,000 yards.
Yards per game.
Yards
he
per
was-
attempt.
Yards per. I got to.
I feel like he just was. Aaron Rodgers wasn't throwing the ball downfield as much as I
Who does,
remember.
though, these days?
I know that's kind of a You're right. We talked about how people aren't throwing the ball; they make you work underneath.
Yeah, I just think they're a better team. Are they a playoff team? No, I don't think.
Yards per attempt was 6.7 yards, which was middle of the pack.
Well, we say every year they're not a playoff team, and
No,
every
I know.
year they go to the friggin'
and I'm
playoffs.
not going to make the proclamation because we've seen Bull has done that every year, and then he has to eat that crow. I'm not doing that because the Steelers have such a good organization that they can overcome bad quarterback play. They have. I don't know that they get bad quarterback play. If they get mediocre quarterback play, they might be able to, go 10-7 and squeak into the playoffs. But to me, this division is about Baltimore and it's about Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh is a team that could make a playoff push, and the Browns are fighting for the overall number 1 draft pick. That's the way it shakes out to me. And not much change based on Aaron Rodgers finally announcing that he's going to be a Steeler.
I think the Browns beat them next year 1 game.
You do? That would be in Cleveland. I don't see them beating them in Pittsburgh.
You just,
I just don't see
you
it.
just go put that. Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen at
They
home.
beat him in Pittsburgh 2 years ago.
Yeah, and how many times did they beat them over the last 30 years in Pittsburgh?
What have you done for him recently? 101.
I don't care about that.
Do you know who they beat in that game?
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. It was DTR's
Yeah,
one win as a starter.
Wasn't that like a 10-6 or a really low?
13
Work.
Yeah.
13
That's nasty work.
13-10.
The fact that the
See what I
last
did,
time
G?
the Browns beat them, it was Kenny Pickett on the mound
against Dorian.
against D.T. Aura. That is crazy.
1 touchdown and 10 interceptions.
That does not look good.
DINTR.
Man,
I don't know. I just don't see them beating Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh.
I don't. Man, this is gonna be interesting, and it's crazy because I can't fully tell you. I think if Joe Flacco was playing, I don't think that they're head and shoulders that crazy above the Browns. Like,
Well, can I ask a question?
No,
on
I
that
don't
real
either.
quick? Because we have one super chat, so we got 1 minute to do this. But Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles week 1 of 2023. Came back. Numbers look good. He wasn't good late in games in particular, but the numbers did look good. But the mobility was not the same we had seen from Aaron Rodgers.
That's for
This
sure.
is now 2 years removed from the Achilles injury. He is in his 40s, which Tom Brady's broken our brains on whether or not quarterbacks can play that late. He's still really the only one that's proven he can play at that high level. But this will be 2 years coming off injury. How much of a difference do you think that'll make for Aaron Rodgers in looking like the quarterback we saw in 2024 versus the MVP caliber quarterback we saw in 21?
man, Jay will tell you, bro, you don't get better after a certain
2
age.
years older.
Yeah.
You just maintain
This
it.
isn't like you've talked about ACL. You need that full year, and then I don't think this is that. When you're
So if he
talking-
was 26, you'd say, oh, yeah, now he's a year removed. He's 41.
yeah,
I would.
the hill don't go back up.
Yeah,
it
like-
just keeps going
like-
down.
Unless
from-
you're Roger Clemens or unless you're using some sort of chemical.
Get that clear in the cream.
Yeah.
Unless you got that, and they've
I would've put
outlawed
back
that.
there.
Clear as the cream. That's so true.
Like
Some kind of chemical.
Deshaun Watson is
What's
even
that
young.
balm you rub it on your skin?
But you run around here smelling like Ben Gay. That's not Ben Gay. That is not icy
Came
hot.
from